The earliest known reference to commemorating the birth of Christ on December 25th is in this thing called the Roman Philocalian calendar.
Okay.
And it was made in the year 354, right?
I'm actually not surprised to hear that it comes from the Romans, because that's
Yeah.
where like a lot of our, cultural traditions and stuff got their prevalence.
Yeah, like this, I think that this whole holiday is actually just Saturnalia.
Yeah.
You're kind of, because think about people in agricultural societies way back in the day. Like, for example, today is December, when we're recording this podcast, today is December 22nd,
Yep.
right? And there's going to be a full moon tonight. So Christmas kind of comes around the time of the last full moon of the year.
Okay.
After the last full moon of the sowing the previous harvest.
Okay.
Right? So there's no more work to do, and it's dark outside, and it's cold.
So everybody just takes time off.
Yeah, everybody just takes time off. And that's actually what Saturnalia was about. Saturn is a Roman god.
Okay.
There was a cult of Saturn.
Yeah.
The cult of Saturn survived in its buildings. They can tell, archaeologists can tell that the cult of Saturn survived hundreds of years after it changed from BC to AD.
Yeah.
So Saturn is a Roman god, and like all Roman gods, he has a Greek god that he was totally ripped off from. So Saturn rips off the god, and more specifically, the Titan Kronos.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, who's the father of Zeus and the king of the Titans.
Yeah, big name.
Yeah, exactly.
He was one of the main ones.
He was like the all
Titan,
guy.
yeah.
Oh, he's the son of heaven and earth.
Yeah.
So in Roman mythology, he was the god of generation, dissolution, plenty, wealth, agriculture, periodic renewal, liberation, and later on, because all of this shit is totally made up, time. He's also the god of time.
No way.
Yeah, so he's got a big roster of talents. This Saturn guy.
He's the fucking god of time, man.
Yeah, he's the god of time.
As soon as you said that, I heard like a rock song in the back of my mind.
God
The god of time.
So Saturnalia originated as a farmers' festival to mark the end of the autumn planting season in honor of Saturn. The last full moon of the year is around December 22nd, but it varies from year to year. Saturnalia starts around December 17th and lasts for 7 days, so until December 23rd. So this would happen in Roman times. This is a very ancient tradition. So during Saturnalia, dress codes were relaxed, such small gifts were exchanged, and candles were put in windows, and caged birds were exchanged.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So this actually sounds like a lot like our modern Christmas holidays.
I also heard actually that during Saturnalia, the king and the fool would switch places.
Yeah, there was a lot of social role reversal.
That's kind of cool to do. I kind of wish we still. Like, I want to become a king for a day.
Yeah,
You.
they would. In Saturnalia, they'd just choose like a random person to be the king of Saturnalia.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you were king for a day.
That's fucking sweet.
It's not like all the masters became
That's
slaves.
the best tradition out of all the. Why didn't we keep that one?
Emperor Domitian, in around 51 to 96, like that early, like after Christ, changed Saturnalia's date to 25th in an attempt to assert his authority. He curbed Saturnalia's subversive tendencies by making it public with events under his control. So basically around this time, after Christ, the state started taking control of Saturnalia.
Wow.
And that's why there wasn't that role reversal anymore. Okay. Although, I mean, Christmas is different everywhere. Yeah. Right? Like in England, people were still going around like it was Halloween, basically like demanding food and stuff like that around
door?
Christmas. Yeah, going door to door, like basically like threatening rich people. Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty fun tradition too.
Let's
go fuck with all the rich people.
It's kind of like the Purge a little bit. So this guy, he changed it to December 25th, as I said. Yep. Domitian. And then around 354 AD, this prominent calligrapher, he was the first he basically like writes calendars and draws calendars for rich people.
So he literally he writes history.
He did. That's what he did in this calendar that he wrote, which is like, it's an illuminated manuscript. His name was Furius Dionysius Philocalus.
It's quite a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. And he was the best calligrapher in the world. He was one of the best artists in his field.
Well, la-di-da.
He was the first person to say Christ's birthday is on December 25th. And like we said,
He just came out of his apartment one day and he was like, "Hey, everybody, Christ's birthday. It's on December 25th now."
yeah, pretty much. Like he decided it. It was one individual that kind of decided this.
Wow.
And
I had no idea.
This thing became used as a reference because they really liked and this thing survived too, right? So it was a very prominently used document, and that's what they did is they looked at other stuff and then they copied, and it's like, oh, Christ's birthday is on December 25th, and then like the rest is history.
Yeah.
So he was Roman, and he was Christian. My theory is that he was like, Saturnalia is one of my favorite times of year because it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Saturnalia is a much better name than Christmas.
yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, we're worshiping the god of time.
Yeah.
We're still kind of doing that today because we don't really know when Christ's birthday is. Right? So
I guess that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Everybody's worshiping whatever they want to worship. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really about like what is actually happening on an objective way, like whether the Jesus's birthday was on December 25th. It's just about like what is your mental volition? You know what I mean? Like what are you celebrating, sort of in your own mind, at Christmas time? And if people aren't celebrating Saturn, then they're not celebrating Saturn. Like,
they're just celebrating.
They're just celebrating.
I think they're just celebrating. Well, I think we're just celebrating because
we just love that shit. Like I don't know why we need to have like specific days and only so few of them and whatever. Like we just need to do more celebrating.
Well,
shit.
I think it's about agricultural society.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Still?
our traditions are passed down, and often people don't really question their traditions.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, we're doing it, but that's not what everybody does. Right. I'm saying that it was a lazy time of year because you couldn't do any more work.
Yeah, it's still a pretty lazy time of year, I feel like.
And it just like this Christmas holidays that we have now just happens to match up with Saturnalia, which is, evolved over time.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it evolved from just like getting drunk and having a general party out into the streets into commercialism and presents. I mean, gifts exchange has always been a big part of it. Like gift exchange was a part of Saturnalia.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't think there's really anything in the Bible about needing to celebrate Jesus' birthday or doing gift exchange, like in the name of that. I think it does come out of those pagan roots entirely.
There's no reference in the Bible to Christmas at all?
To needing to celebrate Jesus' birthday? No.
But they do talk about like, oh, this was Jesus' birthday and this is what happened.
From what I read, there's nothing. There's nothing like that.
Did you read the Bible?
No, well, I just read some cliff notes on the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely would have thought that like there would be at least a mentioning of like this is Christmas. This is what, like, not necessarily you need to celebrate Christmas and you need to do these things, blah blah blah. But like this is Christmas. This is what happened. And then from that,
they said what happened in it, but they
didn't have like a date or anything like that.
No, they didn't have the dates or anything.
Yeah.
And they certainly didn't say do gift exchange.
So
on
people
Christmas.
like without,
So it was entirely pagan, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.